Come on. All right, everyone. Good morning and welcome. Excuse me to Nerd Camp Sports. I am Mike Williams. This is Radasha Anthony Ali. R&B will be joining us shortly. How you feeling today, my brother?
I'm feeling great, man. Feeling good. Glad the Super Bowl's over. I mean, it's a love or hate type situation, but man, I'm excited about this week and talking about the topics we got at hand.
He said, "I'm glad the Super Bowl's over."
I'll go more into detail with that a little bit later and why I feel that way.
All right. Well, while we wait for R&B, we're gonna start with a lighter topic. I just read
Absolutely.
I just read before coming on the air that Kevin Durant and the Suns are looking to part ways via trade this offseason. What are your thoughts on that? And where should Kevin Durant go, in your opinion?
In my opinion, okay, so it shocked me a little bit because I thought they had everything figured out in Phoenix. I thought with Devin Booker and Bradley Beal, of course, being added last season, excuse me, they had pretty much the quote unquote big three foundation in Phoenix, and Kevin Durant didn't have to go anywhere. At this point, I think let's just be real. Kevin Durant is basically just a sharpshooter, and he's going to be used for these different type of teams. Like when he went to Brooklyn, that was supposed to be his home. After he left Golden State, for him to start his own journey as his own man or his own type of athlete or legacy, right? He brought Kyrie in, then he brought James Harden, and it turned into a huge mess. So to see this continuously happen, these type of things keep happening. Kevin Durant is the problem. So I think at this point, he just needs to move on to a team where they just need a really good veteran shooter that can potentially get to the playoffs and make some noise. So if I'm picking a team, I
Real
probably
quick,
have to, yeah.
shout out to him becoming the 8th player to score 30,000 points for a career.
Oh, absolutely. Big ups to Kevin Durant. 30,000, that's huge, man.
Absolutely. I'm sorry, just
One
had to
of the
make
best.
that in there.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. He's one of the best scorers in the game in the history. But if you ask me a team that he should go to, he should probably go to a team. And I hate to say this because it's probably going to ruin their chemistry, but it would definitely put him in a serious conversation for a championship. He should go back to OKC. He should go play with Shea Gilgeous-Alexander because I think that's the only thing they're missing. They're missing that second score, that second guaranteed score. If KD and Shea can find a way to make it work, that would be probably the most deadliest team in the West.
That's not a bad take at all. I'll put it to you like this. Okay. You know why it didn't work in Phoenix? Two reasons. First and foremost, the bulk of their money is between these three guys.
Right.
So now you don't have the wherewithal or you don't have the money to go out and get other players to help push forth the team. Because
Right.
you have a big three, but you need role players. Like we can't sit up here and act like the big three in Miami didn't have a killer bench at their peak.
Yeah.
You can't act like the Celtics, KG, Allen and Garnett or Pierce didn't have one of the most elite benches ever. Like they had a deep bench. So
Right.
they don't have even that. They don't, and I feel like there's not as many players like that anymore. What I mean is like you don't have players like the Heat had like Birdman Anderson. You had like Ray
Yeah.
Allen. You had Shane.
Yeah.
You don't have those kind of specialty bench players anymore.
Right.
But you
Right.
still need quality bench players. So that's the first problem. Okay. Now, second problem, or actually, there's three problems. I'm sorry. The second problem is these three guys are all scorers. Pretty much.
Yeah.
Like outside of that, they're all compromised. They're all compromised on the defensive side of the ball. All pretty much play the same game. So it makes it easy for teams to configure who they are.
Right.
The third problem and is that the chemistry just isn't there.
Yeah.
And limited to what you can do. You have teams who are deep in the West, and you're not going to outshoot everyone every night. All it takes is one of those guys to have an off night. If you can't get 80 points from those three guys, you're a dead fish in the water. So, that ain't going to work against OKC. That ain't going to work against Denver and Nikola Jokic, and what they have going over there. Hell, I mean, it's a little far-fetched. Somehow they have the Lakers as the second team most likely to get to the finals in the West after OKC. But, even still, you could even take LeBron and Luka over the three of them.
Yeah, because they have like different type of players.
Absolutely. So if I'm Kevin Durant, or, if I'm Phoenix and I'm looking to trade a player, or I'm looking to trade him, the key is, where is he going to be the most effective? And where can I trade him to where I don't have to give up all the assets? Let me pull up. Or I don't have to give up a bunch of assets, or they have to give up assets for us to get them. Now, in a perfect world, I believe that, R&B is here. Hold on, let me add him. Yo.
What up, dog?
What up?
What's good, man?
We started with a light topic while we
good.
waiting for you. We're talking about, I just read that Kevin Durant and the Suns want to part ways after this season. So we were just talking about via trade why it wasn't working in Phoenix and where we think he should go. That could help him. Now, the only thing is, I'm gonna tell you this is where now you're not wrong with OKC, but the thing is, assets will have to be given up, and we're talking about trade, not free agency.
Right.
That's the big difference maker. Because to me, if he was a free agent, and this is a little far fetched, but Dallas making that trade makes them a contender in their mind still. In their mind.
Okay.
To me, I think it's a step backwards considering you made it to the finals last year with the team you had.
Right. Exactly.
If we were talking if you were to add KD to that mix, Anthony Davis was healthy, you have Kyrie, I think that could be a good fit for him to score the ball. But we know that's something that ain't going to happen. So if I'm looking at a trade, does he have a no trade clause? I know Beal has one.
No.
He doesn't have a no trade clause. So he can really end up anywhere, and there's nothing he can say.
He won't.
Right.
Well, not
no trade clause, but they're still gonna let him dictate everything because they tried to trade him this trade deadline and he turned down the offer.
I was just about to say that.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So,
including him going to back to Golden State, because they was ready to do it, but Kevin Durant's like, hell no, and they said, all right.
That's the other one that I was gonna say, but y'all know I always make jokes about Steph Curry being his father. But the reason he don't want to go back is because of Steph Curry. Because if he goes back,
I don't think it's
that.
No.
I'm saying from a legacy standpoint.
Probably.
If he goes back and they win another one, what are people going to say? He couldn't do it.
Win without stuff.
Right. That's
it's true.
And I just think. Hold on. I just got one more thing, and then I'm gonna let you take the floor. I think that also, when it comes to Kevin Durant, like before you came on screen, he said that he wanted to He was supposed to go to Brooklyn to how you put it start his own team, right? To be able to say, okay,
Yeah.
I'm the guy. This is my team. You go back to Golden
Right.
State.
Build a legacy.
Now you do it. You go via trade. It's the same thing because there's going to be someone else there whose team it is, and so I don't think Kevin Durant. He's in his 17th season. I think going into season 18, if they're going to do this during this offseason, there's just no way you can now do that, unless you're a free agent, you sign where there's no one. But that's just my look on it.
Hmm.
Go ahead, R&B. Your what's yours?
No, I was just gonna say, man. I kind of agree with the narrative of the whole little Steph thing that he couldn't win without Steph. But I think more so than anything, his how people would look at his legacy, why he didn't want to go back there, is that people would more so look and say he couldn't win without being in Golden State. Because
Mm.
you got to
Okay.
remember, for us, even though Steph won the one, before he got there, it was a narrative that, hey, it don't look like Steph and Clay can beat LeBron and without KD.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to remember they needed KD.
Hmm.
They weren't going to be
Right.
able to take down LeBron without KD be going there. You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
fact.
It just wasn't going to happen. They needed somebody that at that point in time could go head up with LeBron and get a bucket when they needed a bucket the most. And it had been proven that Steph and Clay could not do it. Even in the finals that they won, a la Iguodala being the MVP, you know what I'm saying, for slowing down LeBron or whatever. So with that being said, man, I don't know. It's uh man, at this point, I hate to see this with such a great talent, man, and KD. He's such a freaking great talent, such a great
Hmm.
scorer. It's like, man, why I don't want to blame Phoenix on them because they just haven't been able to stay healthy since he's been there. Bradley Beal has missed so many games. He missed some games. Devin Booker missed some games. Then when they
Hmm.
finally
Hmm.
were able to be healthy, the chemistry just hasn't been there. You got Devin Booker, who we all know to be a prolific scorer. He's playing point guard. So now that's taken away from Matt. You know what I'm saying? Think of young Kobe, number 8, when they
Hmm.
the first three-peat with him and Shaq. When you look at that lineup, you're gonna see Derek Fisher at point guard, but Kobe Bryant was the point guard of those teams. You know what I'm saying? And that kind of it was what they needed him to do, but at the same time also think of when he didn't necessarily have to be the primary point guard anymore, and he was unleashed to be the prolific scorer that we all knew he could be. I think that's what we see in the Devin Booker right now. He's being forced to play this point guard position, so it's taken away from who he truly is and what he truly can do because he's trying to set up, KD and at a lesser degree Bradley Beal as well, and get everybody on the team involved and going. And it just don't seem to be working, man. It just don't seem like it's a good fit, to be honest. And I don't know where they. I really don't. It's his legacy is already tainted. It just is. When you lose, what is that? When you lose the way you lose and choke that series away against Golden State, and then you turn around and join them the following summer behind it, what I'm saying, you win your two, what I'm saying, you go to three straight, you win two, you leave after that, whatever was going on between him and the organization, Draymond, whatever, you go to Brooklyn. That was a tremendous failure, the shit with James Harden and Kyrie, even though they were one big toe away, as everybody like to say, from going to the finals. You know, it just seemed like it's just been a lot of failure since he's left Golden State, and that's following him. And at this point, I don't think KD needs to try to go to a team where he needs to be the man. I think he does need another Golden State type of fit, which means I'm not the man, but I'm the guy to go get the bucket when we need buckets. And call me a homer if you must. I think he should. I think he should think about coming to Detroit. You got Cade Cunningham here, already your established point guard. You know what I'm saying? You got some veterans and some shooters around the team. Malik Beasley. You know, we got the big man in Duran. You know, we got a pretty solid to okay bench. It could use some improvement, but you know, if you add a player like KD and he can stay healthy, the sky would be the limit for the Detroit Pistons. So if I'm KD, I would sit back and maybe evaluate a situation like that. Not necessarily saying that it has to be Detroit. I'm just, you know,
Using it as an
I feel like
example.
that would be a good
Yeah.
fit. Yeah, he done Cade's already. This is Cade's team. He's the young buck.
Mm-hmm.
He's the all-star this year. It's Cade's team. We just be looking at you like, look, come here and give us 25, 4, and 4.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we need.
Mm-hmm.
Come
Mm-hmm.
give us 25, 4, and 4. It's not on you. You know what I'm saying? And that's the ideal feel, I think, for KD, in my opinion.
Right.
Real quick.
Yeah,
That's also the reason why R&B. I was saying OKC would be a good fit too, because he's basically going into that role of just scoring 25 a night, 20 to 25 a night, and being a veteran that's helping out the young players in the locker room. You know what I'm saying? Just basically kind of just being like the big homie or the big uncle role. Like he's not really focused on winning a championship or being the guy. He's just out there just doing what he does. And it's taken off less for him because he doesn't have to go out there and be the leader. There's already the leader of the team. Like you said, Cade Cunningham, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Like you got these guys, their franchise already locked in, who they're focused on for the future. But then you got that veteran presence with KD in the locker room and KD on the floor that's basically helping them get to that next level, even if it's not even a championship, because we already know it's not a guarantee in this game. But it's always good to have that one veteran that understands the game and have won championships already. So that's why I was saying pretty much the same thing you're saying about Cade Cunningham. I didn't even think of that. That's actually a really good match.
Absolutely.
Real quick, Mike, to just for Roger's point, the only reason I disagree with OKC is because they already have a great nucleus intact, and they're the number one team in the West. Looks like
Right.
it's going to be back-to-back years here that they're about to be the number one team in the West, threatening to go
Yeah.
to the finals and win the championship. If you
Mm-hmm.
trade for KD at this point, you're going to give up some of those young assets that you have right now, along with draft picks, and that could set you back. So that's the only, if they were more so in the Pistons type of era, where it's like, right now we're tingling around 500, under 500, just over 500, that 5 through 8 or play in type shit,
Yeah.
then it would be a better look, in my opinion. But for them to, like, they're already established. Like, and to me, that would be another knock on his legacy, because then people would just look and say, oh, he ran back to OKC when they were already established with a great player in Shai. And you know what I'm saying? So I don't think that's the ideal that he needs to look for. But I'm not KD, so I don't know what he wants and what he wants to look for. But me as a invested fan, I don't think that's the situation he needs to look for. He needs to look for something that's not the worst, but not the best, that he can take that team and win with.
Would San Antonio fit that or no because of Wembanyama?
I actually think San Antonio I think that's a good one, because even with Wemby, they're still that middle. It's not like Wemby got them number one in the West. They're not right now. You know what I'm saying? They could use somebody like a KD,
and it's not like
to go along with him and Fox.
It's not like the trade for Fox is going to push them up above that right now.
Yeah,
it's not right now.
Is Chris Paul still the starter, or is Fox? Are they both starting?
Yeah,
I think they got them both on the floor at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, they both starting.
Yeah.
Castle is the one that's sixth man right now.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens with that. So we're waiting for you, because I want to talk about Super Bowl. So we are. Well, actually, hold on. Sidebar. Before we get into the Super Bowl, I'm about to shock the world. And I'm going to put this part up here for our producer to make sure you clip this part right here. Right here. Because This is the only time.
2020 mark. 2020 mark.
It's the only
Yeah,
time.
right? Yeah, perfect.
Let me say this. Thank you, Kendrick Lamar.
Oh, what?
Let me tell you, everyone and their mother hated that performance. I fucking loved what it stood for. I loved what it stood for. I'm gonna say it. Listen. I have always said I have no issues with his music, with his artistry. Performing is a part of artistry. Whether it's a part of artistry, and the fact that it went over everyone's head what he was doing and what he was representing is an anomaly to me. And I sit up here, and yesterday I had someone wrote this big status, and I don't want to get political, but they wrote this big status about the Orange Man, and I just said my part, gave my opinion, and they were just like, someone had commented saying, "Oh, well, why don't you like Trump?" And I said, "Listen, respectfully, I said, we're not going to agree. You're not going to understand. So we're not going to talk about it." And, I said, "Did you watch the halftime performance?" He goes, "Yeah, I didn't understand it." I said, "Then you're not going to understand what we're talking about. You're not going to understand how I feel. Like you just not going to get it. Like, I said, nah, you're an older white guy. Like, you just got to call it what it is. You're not going to understand." But I did think that, people thought that the crowd was flat, but I think the crowd was trying to understand what was going on, like really trying to understand the message sent behind the performance. And I think that it was good to do that. I think it's good for us as people, good for the culture, and he had to perform it. You knew he had to. You knew he had to. Got Serena Williams,
Absolutely.
crip walking, and then you have Drake over here with like at a concert with bullet holes with smoke coming out. Then he releases this terrible album with one.
Nah, we're not gonna do that, Mike. That album was pretty good.
What?
But we're not gonna. It's a sports show, so I'm not gonna go deep into that. But I like the album.
No. You are not
talking
going
about
to
the Drake party album.
tell me that
It's pretty
that
good.
It's not bad.
It's pretty good, Mike.
Album, Mike.
It's not the worst album. You making it seem like it was the worst album we heard this year or last year.
Listen, it's not the worst Drake album. Wait, this year just started. This is the worst album that's
No. What I'm saying is you act like it's like the worst album we've heard in a year.
It's pretty bad.
It's not. All right, whatever. Okay.
Look,
all right.
what it is?
It's an R&B album.
I don't know what Drake is anymore, honestly. I don't know if he's rap. I don't know if
he's an artist.
I don't know.
He's an artist.
I don't know what he is. I don't know if he's a man. I don't know if he's a woman. I don't know if he's confused.
Mike.
I don't know anymore. But what I do know is, listen, when you have been listening, I've been listening since like 2008. So we know artists change, but this one wasn't it. It was better than More Life because that album was bad, like real bad, real bad. But that's all I had to say about the halftime show.
All right. Well, let me just say this real quick. It's kind of piggyback off of what you were saying about the Drake and Party Next Door album, right? It's not a great album, but it's a good album. I give it a solid score. I give it about a 7. Maybe a 7.5, maybe. Because it did what it was supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? It did what it was supposed to do. It was a pretty much a feel-good R&B Valentine's album. But as far as the half, but going back to the halftime show and going back to the Super Bowl, I'm so glad it's over because it became so politicized that it started to make me sick. everybody was talking about Kendrick and what is he going to do when he performs, and is he going to play not like us? And it was so much about the halftime show that it wasn't even about football. I wanted to focus more on the actual matchup more than I wanted to focus on the halftime show, and it
Yeah,
just got overshadowed. So
they
I'm
they were
glad it's
more
over.
they were more concerned about his halftime performance and then booing Taylor Swift. Like,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. It became more about anything but football. You know what I'm saying? And that's the problem with like where we are with sports. Like it's okay to talk about different things, but how are you going to miss out on one of the greatest games of all time? Like this was probably if you're a person that love defense or if you're a person that love a good matchup, this was a good football matchup. You know what I'm saying? Because it was a rematch. Jalen Hurts going for his first championship or going for his first Super Bowl ring. You know all this stuff. Like it was a lot on the line, but it became so much about Taylor Swift, Kendrick Lamar, Donald Trump being there that it became like a nauseating. So that's why I'm glad that all that is over. That we can just strictly focus about sports now. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that stuff is not important, but they made it more important than the actual game.
Mm. I'm gonna second behind Mike, and I'm gonna say thank you, Kendrick Lamar, but for a different reason. I'm gonna say thank you, Kendrick Lamar, because I thought that it was a great and excellent performance, and I think that anybody that tries to say that it was not a good performance are either Drake sexuals or just complete idiots they like, for instance, one of my boys stopped by recently. Um, and he was listening to the Kendrick album when he stopped by, and I stepped out to his vehicle, and we were talking about it and stuff, and I'm like, when I told him, I was like, I think it's okay. I was like, it's not a bad Kendrick album. It's not bad. It's not great. I was like, it is what it is. I felt like it's not the same type of Kendrick that I'm used to hearing, but in some ways it is. And you know what his response was? Ah, man, nah, fuck that shit. Fuck that. I ain't trying to hear what you talking about. This is a great album. You mad because he ain't on all that political shit and he ain't talking that real shit. So that's how dumb we have come, of how far dumb we've come as black people. That when
I
a
agree.
person has a message, a positive message, we don't want to hear that shit. But the minute it's all about beef and we trying to see what type of low blows he gonna drop and what type of ignorance he gonna talk about. Not saying that that's what the album is completely about or whatever, but we fall in love with that. You know what I'm saying? So me personally, as far as the performance though, I say thank you because it saved the night, in my opinion, because the game, yeah, it was a great matchup, but it was a terrible fucking Super Bowl because one offensive line decided that they were not going to show up at all, which completely ruined the game because Patrick Mahomes didn't have the time. He didn't have time to blink back there. He didn't have time to blink, nothing, process the field. Like it was complete. It was a complete blowout. I don't care about the final score. Those were garbage time stats. That's the type of shit Matthew Stafford and Calvin Johnson used to do back in the day when the Lions sucked and used to be like, oh, well, they put up 30 points. Yeah, when the team was already up 30 and resting their starters in the fourth quarter, they decided to just put up garbage time stats in a comeback effort. Like, I don't care about that shit. That game was absolute garbage. And I don't want to see another Super Bowl like it again. It reminded me of the 90s. You remember when you was a little kid and the Super Bowl come on in the 90s? And everybody's so hyped up about these matchups, and then it'd be a complete blowout like the 49ers, what they did to the Chargers and shit. When Steve Young threw the 5 touchdowns, just complete blowout. We haven't seen a Super Bowl that bad in a while, probably
That's
since
true.
Tampa Bay and Kansas. When the offensive line couldn't block for Patrick Mahomes, but I would even argue that at least in that Super Bowl, it was entertaining enough because he was, you were just entertained by him getting out of the pocket and making some of these miraculous plays to try to make something happen. But Philly just was, man, they were a monster last Sunday, and that so it just the highlight of the night was Kendrick, in my opinion. But I do appreciate the message that he sent with his performance, and I do appreciate the fact that he did perform not like a it was. and then to look in the camera and smile and
That
say,
was
"Yeah,
crazy. That was crazy. Oh, that was so evil, man. That was so evil.
man."
I think
Man.
I think when it comes to the actual game, I just like most of us, not everyone, but a lot of people pick Kansas City to win the game.
Right.
I just personally thought they were going to just pull it out. But I also did say I could foresee Philly winning, but they had to play perfect football. And that's what they played
Yep.
in all three phases. Let's just, we just call what it is. Kansas City got their ass kicked.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, like, I was like, I had to be to work 1:30 a.m. And I felt comfortable going to bed in the second quarter. That's how like it bad it was. And Jalen Hurts came out and he did what he had to do. I believe he threw for 3 touchdowns. I don't remember the yards, but there was a clip I seen on this of him and what you call it, Barkley on the sideline, and he said, "You were the difference." And it's funny because I found this other video earlier, maybe yesterday, of everyone saying how Saquon's impact wouldn't even get them to win the division. Well, his impact got them to win the Super Bowl. And he wasn't even a huge factor in the game because I did say that they needed to neutralize him and force Jalen Hurts to do more. Well, they did the one part, but they didn't force Jalen Hurts to do more to the point where it put them in a position to win the game. They couldn't even move the ball or get a first down in like the first quarter. I think it was like they didn't get first down to like their 6th drive. And by that point, I think it was already like 14-0. And then you go and look at it, that defense had Mahomes. I swear, they looked at that Bucs Super Bowl and said, okay, we need to do this. If we do that, we can win. Their offensive line is huge. I think the average height's like 6'6", 320, 50 pounds. So when you look at that, oh,
Bless you.
Thank you.
Bless you.
Oh, Jesus, thank you. When you look at all that and you just say they put together a perfect game and they really made Kansas City work. And, then, the third quarter, you thought, that was the time they would turn it around and it just didn't happen. And then these six Mahomes was throwing, it's just like, it wasn't good. So hat off to Philly. They stopped the three-peat. The three-peat we got, we'll talk about later. The dunk contest three-peat. Not the three-peat we all thought we was gonna get. But it was definitely a bad game. A good matchup. Yeah. Their first matchup was obviously a hell of a lot better.
Oh yeah.
This just was
yeah.
This was just statutory rape. Like there's nothing else to call it. Like it's bad. It was real bad.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
Yeah.
Respectfully, we use that term.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was bad. It was bad. What were you guys' takeaways on the game?
Well, the actual game, like you said, man, it was a blowout from the first quarter on. But I think at this point, we got to start questioning what's going on with Kansas City. Like, are they going to move forward with,
And one more thing. Shout out to Nick Sirianni from going from the hot seat to Super Bowl champion coach.
Shout out to him because I definitely had him on the hot seat. I ain't going to lie. We was questioning what's going on with him. But he proved that he can pull it out with the team he got. And Saquon Barkley did great. Jalen Hurts did great. Everyone showed up. They, like you said, Mike, you said on the last show, you said the only way they could beat Kansas City if they play a perfect game, and they did exactly that. I think the matchup was too great on Philly's side. Like there was just way better at that time, you know. And but like I said, it leaves questions on what's going to happen with Travis Kelce moving forward. What's going to happen with Kansas City? Because now think about this real quick. Travis is looking at the tail end of his career, right?
Yep.
You don't have a wide receiver that can catch. That's like, you know, a top rated wide receiver on the Chiefs. Their running game is okay. It's like, you know, so. It's not necessarily something to blow people away with. And their defense isn't really top notch either. So do you guys think Kansas City can bounce back from this loss? Like, that's the real question. Because now they went from pretty much a dynasty team to now being a team that's like, you know, in the past. That's the way I'm viewing it. Because how can they bounce back from this? How can they bounce back from this? Especially knowing that you got teams like the Bills coming in the AFC. You got teams like Cincinnati that's probably going to pull something together. Well, who else? The Ravens. Can't forget about them. You know, they had an incredible run this season. So there's a lot of teams in the AFC that's going to be, you know, pretty much salivating off the fact that this team just got wiped out in the freaking Super Bowl. So now they're going to be like, look, we got an opportunity out here. We can go out here. If we play our top-rated game and we find a way to beat Kansas City, we can potentially go to the Super Bowl and win it all. That's the way these teams in the AFC are looking at it. Because you cannot convince me the Chiefs are going to go back to the Super Bowl next season. They're not, especially playing the way they played last season. During the regular season, they didn't play good at all. They just found ways to win with the referees. So, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Like, do you think Kansas City's going back, or do you think they need to find some players? Like, what do you think?
So I got a comment here. Here it says, is it time for Kelce to retire? Worthy's going to break out in his sophomore season. And then he wrote the Ravens, my boy Nick. I think when you look at the landscape of the AFC, that changes are coming. Like we understand that that Buffalo's still in the mix. We understand Baltimore in the mix. We understand that Cincinnati will find a way to get back into the mix. You know, so when you look at Kansas City, you know, and that's not to say if anyone else can make a move to get into the mix. So when you look at Kansas City, you know, this season was kind of like on borrowed time, because if we're being honest, you know, they won a lot of games they should have lost.
Exactly.
There was a point where someone had called.
But they won them.
You're right. A win's a win. There was a point in the season where one analyst called them the worst undefeated team ever. Like, but they ain't lose. So I mean, you gotta give them their due. So I think that Kelce's diminishing role or diminishing ability to do what he does has hurt them. Because I had always said, as long as you have 87, you got a chance. Well, 87 wasn't 87 this season or this offseason.
Right.
So, you know, I don't know if it's just, you know, age catching up. You know, he's been a heavy usage player at least the whole time Mahomes has been there. You know, so now it could be a culmination of that. You know, or I don't know if he needs to cut that hair. Like, I don't know what it is. But what I do know is that Kansas City, if they're going to want to stay, they're going to have to find a way to get some more elite talent at the skill positions. Like Hopkins, that's a great ad, but Hopkins is old. I think next season, his 13th season. You know, and he gave all his good years, honestly, to Houston. And he still has some good years in Arizona. So, you know, now, is he still serviceable? Sure. but you're not going to get the same guy. Um, you know, um, Pacheco coming off that injury wasn't the same. Rice never returned, did he?
No.
No.
No, but he was supposed to return because he had
Hmm.
last season he had turned to their guy, like he was
Yeah.
coming into his own, and even in the beginning of this season, and then boom, he got hurt. Then his own quarterback hurt him for crying out loud, So that happened. So now it's kind of just like you have to do something, make a splash this offseason in order to stay where we're used to you being, because we know Kansas City is 7-0 under Mahomes in the divisional round. And if you don't make moves, you might be losing the invitational next season.
That's what I'm saying. We might have to change the name because it looks like that dynasty is broken up. It's over. What do you think, R&B?
Full disclosure, though.
I'm go ahead.
Full disclosure.
Because I got a little soliloquy.
Full disclosure, though, when we do the preview show in August, I'm still calling it the Invitational. Because my thing is this: I can't pick against until someone knocks them out of that part. We know they've been knocked. We've lost Super Bowls. We know they've lost in the AFC Championship, but no one has stopped him from getting to it. Like he's just like it's like that AFC Championship's like blood in the water. Go ahead, R&B.
So this is what I'm gonna say. I'm trying to be quick with it though. Y'all were kind of irritating me a little bit with these takes. And the reason why is because, for one, it's not long as you got 87, you got a chance. It's as long as you got 15, which showed in the Super Bowl. They weren't able to protect 15, so you didn't have 15. You had basically bum quarterback play because there was no protection. He couldn't be Patrick Mahomes. In order for any great quarterback to be who they are, they had to have great protection. That's just a simple fact. So with that being said, this team has lost the Super Bowl before in the same facet to Tampa Bay. They bounced back. Were they younger? Because it was a few years earlier, yeah. But they still bounced back and continued to go to more AFC championships and more Super Bowls. So to just take this loss, I think, and just bottle it up and automatically think, oh man, it's over with. You know what I'm saying? Especially, it's not like we're sitting up here talking about Patrick Mahomes and he's Aaron Rodgers' age. Dude ain't even 30. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's no way that you're gonna convince me right now that this shit is over with a great quarterback like that at that age. Especially when he's going up against all of these other quarterbacks in the AFC that have proven that they cannot knock this man off in the playoffs. Because, like you said, my man said, "Oh, this is the worst undefeated team we've ever seen." Well, why did that worst undefeated team or that worst 15-2 team that Patrick Mahomes did a lot of heroic things he didn't have a great season, but he did a lot of great heroic things at the end of a lot of those games to help them win those games to go 15-2. And we seen Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen just running through people. You know what I'm saying? We seen them doing their thing, just balling out. Even a sorry ass Bengals Joe Burrow balling out, doing his thing, right? Joe Burrow didn't make the playoffs. Josh Allen knocked Lamar out of it. And then Patrick Mahomes knocks Josh Allen off again.
The only thing is that we never said it was over. I understand what you're saying.
Rod said it was over.
Oh, you said it was over.
I did. Yeah, I said I believe it's over.
Oh, see, I didn't say it was over. I missed that over. I'm just saying you're gonna have to find those pieces and stay competitive. Of course, with 15, you got a chance.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think they far away though, because like you said, Rice will come back healthy next season. We thought he would return this season, but he didn't. But that might bode well for them because now he has extra time to get that leg back 100% healthy and make sure he's good to go into next year. They're probably going to hold on to D-Hop just for that veteran underneath presence. D-Hop has some crucial drops in that Super Bowl, though, I have to say. his age showed in that Super Bowl. He dropped some passes that I thought like, damn, like Diop. But they who knows? I think they might hold on to him. We'll see. But Pacheco, it's hard to really tell if Pacheco came back to full strength because
Right.
they didn't run the fucking ball. They
Mm-hmm.
didn't run the ball.
And
They
Right.
didn't even try to use Pacheco and Hunt.
and shout
And
out
that,
to Xavier Worthy too, because he had a big game in the Super Bowl. He played well.
Yeah, he did.
yeah.
He played well.
But see, that's the reason why I said the dynasty is over, because they did not utilize all their weapons. See, one thing I've learned about the AFC, right?
Is that
You just
dynasty over? Or is that just bad coaching though? I had to ask you that.
well, it's both.
That looked like bad coaching to me.
And he's a part of the dynasty. Andy Reid is a part of the dynasty. When we think about Kansas City, when we think about the Chiefs, you think about Patrick Mahomes, you think about Travis Kelce, and you think about Andy Reid, right? So what I'm saying is we're at the point of the movie where one of the big three goes away. And I believe Travis Kelce retires. He go into podcasting, right? Kansas City try to find a way to revamp that whole entire team with what they got. And they, like you said, Rice comes back, D-Hop's still there, but they didn't utilize Pacheco at all. They didn't utilize him at all. Most of the time, when you watch these teams, like I said, with the AFC teams like Kansas City, not Kansas City, the Buffalo Bills, and also with the Ravens, right? The two big teams that are like the biggest threats to Kansas City. They have a run game. They have a legit run game. They've utilized that run game. Now, of course, we can say, well, they're not being used.
Super Bowl?
Huh?
Why didn't they go to the Super Bowl?
Because that first down wasn't a first down.
well, I could also say
that first down wasn't a first down.
Kareem Hunt has some good games in that playoff run too, and they all of a sudden got to the Super Bowl and decided they weren't going to use him or Pacheco to their advantage because I guess they thought that they had a better chance of throwing the ball. So to me, again, that does not look like the end of a dynasty. That looks like we got here and got out coached. It was bad coaching. We had a game plan that we wanted to do and we wanted to stick with it, even when they showed us that they weren't going to allow it to, happen by getting constant pressure. We were going to stick with what we wanted to do. That was hard-headedness. That's what that was, and we've seen that before from coaches. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the dynasty is over. It just takes some reevaluating.
And okay, so with the reevaluation, right? Reevaluating this whole entire thing. Do you think they get better moving forward?
They have to. They had the Super Bowl showed it. The Super Bowl showed that we have to get better on this offensive line, and whether Kelce comes back or not, we have to address getting another skilled tight end in here, which I don't think is going to be hard. You heard it here first. I believe Mark Andrews will be the next tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. They're going to pay Isaiah Likely. They're not going to pay both of them. He's going to go to Kansas.
And what way?
So, yeah, go ahead, Mike.
What way to get back to get under the Ravens' skin in a sense to go there, and he'll be used a lot more.
He'll be used a lot more.
But see, that's what I'm saying. I'm in my personal opinion, I think this is what it is. That's why I said the dynasty's over, because even though they're going to have to get better, there's teams that are better that are going to also get better, like the Ravens, like Buffalo, Cincinnati. They're going to get better.
Buffalo could probably get better by maybe adding another skill position at the wide receiver position. But I don't really know. You've paid Josh Allen this money. I don't really know, what you can really do to get any better than what you earned. They just came up short. Baltimore, I don't really know what you can really do to get any better. You just came up short. You didn't get it done.
You're saying
I think
it's not about getting better. Sometimes you just come up short.
You're saying what Baltimore can do to get better?
Baltimore or Buffalo?
I don't think. I think Baltimore. I agree with you. I think they just came up short because, I mean, Like, they have that top tier name wide receiver? No. But the wide receivers they have work for the system and they work with Lamar, right? Then
Mhm.
you have Derrick
You
Henry.
don't think Zay Flowers is legit?
He's a Pro Bowler. Yeah, he's legit.
Even though I know he was hurt in the
No, he's
he got
legit.
hurt or whatever, but outside of that, I think he had like 1,500 yards this year.
He's legit.
To be honest, I don't really look at their stats. I didn't look at their stats, his stats per se, so I'm not sure. I'm just saying, you don't hear it mentioned with those upper echelon names.
Upper the
You know,
Jeffersons and
yeah,
yeah, I get you.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I'm not saying he's bad. I know he had a good season. I just didn't look at his stats before because we shifted here a little bit, so I don't have them. But all I'm saying is do they have that top name, let's say, talent? No. But they don't, but it's a credit to them. They don't need it. Right? They have what works for them. Derrick Henry was an improvement. Lamar had a phenomenal season. So if we're looking at it, like you said, they just came up short. I think they run it back the same way.
Turnovers.
Yeah, and it was rough because they didn't have many during the season, but when they had turnovers, they were at the worst and most critical points. Or when they didn't get the play they needed, it was at the worst and most critical point. That's why, all it takes is one mistake to change the whole outcome of a game. One call to change the whole outcome of a game.
And that's also the reason why I said these other teams are going to improve because Zay Flowers was injured, right? So getting a healthy Zay Flowers back, if you get him in the playoffs against Mahomes, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Even though you don't need that extra piece or another addition, you still got that piece that's healthy.
Against Mahomes. And they've
Wait,
had
what's
him
that?
against Mahomes. I said they've had him in the playoffs against Mahomes, and they.
Right, I know, but I'm saying if he's healthy and he's playing this time, because they didn't face him up, like they didn't face him against, they didn't go up against Kansas City in the AFC Championship. Buffalo did, but what I'm saying is if the Ravens get in that position, they're beating.
I get what you're saying, but what I'm saying is the year before that, they had Zay Flowers at home in Baltimore, and Kansas City came in there and they beat them.
Yeah, but he was like a rookie that year, wasn't he?
He don't give a damn. He blocked them out in that game, and he
was a
also
rookie.
did costly shit that cost them the game too with penalties.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Immaturity. He's only 24. He's 24 years old, so he was like 23 at that time, right? So he's going to be better this year, this upcoming season, 2025. Now, what I'm saying about Buffalo, you give them a wide receiver. That's all they're missing. They're a wide receiver away from being a Super Bowl championship team, in my opinion. Because
they're already a Super Bowl championship team. They just didn't get it done, Raj. They
don't have a wide receiver. If they had a wide receiver, they would have got it done.
Why are you in the AFC championship then?
Because of Josh Allen, the MVP. He carried that. He literally carried that team on his back.
I can argue you that Lamar Jackson carried his team more than Josh Allen. Look at the stats. It's getting it done when it needs to be done. They're not getting it done.
He would have got it done if he had a wide receiver.
Patty Kruger scares them.
He's throwing to absolutely nobody. Let's just keep it a stat. He's throwing to dudes that's working at Walmart in Buffalo.
They didn't trade for Amari Cooper. Those two young guys that they drafted weren't balling out before they traded for Amari Cooper to make a solid three-level core.
Amari Cooper haven't been right since he was in Dallas. What I'm saying is this. Amari Cooper is just a trophy piece, just somebody that's just a distraction.
So a quick question. Josh Allen was throwing the ball and catching it too on his way to MVP. That's what you tell me.
Of course not.
He was hey Mike, he was doing the old Ric Flair. I mean, not Ric Flair, but the old Mr. Perfect highlight. Remember
Mr. Perfect.
That's what Josh Allen did all year.
Pretty much.
Okay. All right.
Josh Allen was throwing the dudes that worked at Walmart right before they got to the game. This is what I'm saying. You can't tell me that Khalil Shakur is an all pro, or he's a pro
That's what I'm
wide
saying, bro.
receiver.
Did he do his job? He did his
He did
job.
his job. But we need somebody, if they need, what Buffalo needs? They
So
need
you about
somebody
to
like Tyreek
reinforce
Hill.
another Stephon Diggs level type receiver that Josh
Yes.
Allen is gonna feel like he has to force the ball to and then throw turnovers again. That's what you want?
No. No. See, the reason why I didn't work with Stephon Diggs is because Stephon Diggs is an a-hole. Stephon Diggs is selfish.
You think Tyreek Hill gonna come in there and not want the ball thrown to him?
Of course he will, but he's not like Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is a cancer in the locker room.
I'm not saying that he's like Stephon Diggs. What I'm saying is that it seems to me from the Stephon Diggs experiment and Gabe Davis that when Josh Allen has receivers that he feels, without them even bitching, that he feels he has to constantly force the ball to them to make plays. He's not as good as when he's able to just let his hair down and spread that motherfucker around. He plays
Okay,
better. Even when
that's
Stephon Diggs was there, when Stephon Diggs would be hurt and miss games, he played better when he could spread it around and get it around to Kincaid and Knox when he was there, and all these different weapons that they had.
okay. That's fair, but are you saying that adding a top-notch wide receiver wouldn't help Buffalo? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not
Or or
saying
or get him over the hump?
I'll break it down like this. Anytime you add more talent, it should help. So I'm not saying that it wouldn't help. I'm just saying that I don't think that it's really much of a difference because they've been right there. They've been with top level talent receiver, with young receiver, mid level talent receiver, and MVP Josh Allen. Him and Lamar both have been right there, and they have not been able to get it done. So at what point do we stop looking at, oh, they need this? It's just like they were saying about LeBron. How much do you need? You supposed to be the greatest in the world, right? You're the MVP, right, Josh? How much do you need?
Uh, he needs a wide receiver that's all pro, man. He needs an
They
all
need
pro wide receiver.
they need to run the ball more, and maybe they win the AFC Championship and stop trying to do a tush push like they Philly when they don't have Philly's offensive line. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna lie, I feel like they did pick up that first down and they got
Thank
homies
you.
on it,
That
but at the same time, what I'm
Josh
saying,
Allen had that first down.
I have to look at the total outcome of the game, and the total outcome of the game told me that you should have been running the ball more with your all pro running back that had a hell of a year for you this year.
I agree. I do agree with that.
Well, that's it. We're gonna see. The off seasons they get spicy as always. So, actually, before we flip over into All Star Weekend, I want to talk about Jalen Hurts kind of for a moment here. Is Jalen Hurts a top 5 quarterback now in the league?
No, no,
No.
no.
10?
Yeah. I'll give him 10.
Borderline.
Maybe.
I kind
Yeah.
of
Arguably 10.
9 through
I
12.
I would literally have to get a list out and really evaluate it. But yeah, probably right there, borderline 10, somewhere around that
like
range.
Yeah.
like 9, 12, maybe.
I'll give him 10. I'll literally give him 10.
Somewhere in there. Somewhere in there.
I was just curious.
And it's no disrespect to him, no knock to him.
No.
He's a great talent, but it's just it's levels to this shit,
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he's gotten the first piece to get in there, right? He's gotten the first piece. Now you just got to keep building off of that. So now we're gonna go to something that hurts my soul. R&B, I think this is your first year with us here talking about All-Star Saturday. and how me and Rod every year talk about how we watch and we hope and pray to the good Lord above that it's just going to be good, that it's just going to be better. But the fact that they couldn't even give us a real performer, they gave us the third Ball brother who doesn't even play in the NBA as a performer. Like, bro, all these changes, you was giving us J. Cole the 1 year. They gave us someone else the other year. I can't remember offhand. And then you give us I don't even know the other brother's name. Like
Jello.
Yeah,
like,
Jello.
Jello, like Bill Cosby Jello. Like
No.
like no. Like
Don't disrespect that man like
Bill
that.
Bill Cosby was a fan of the pudding,
The
not
your
trouble.
pudding pops.
So I'm
Little
sitting there
pill
like
in the pudding.
I'm sitting up here. I'm watching this last night, and I'm just like, Spurs get eliminated, get DQ'd.
Oh man, Chris Paul should be arrested, bro.
Yo, and then I seen a photo. Yo, they actually pulled these cats. Did you see where they pulled out the actual rules? Like literally, they had the rules in front of them to read. I was like, wow.
I'm so glad that happened because Chris Paul's a piece of trash for that.
Yeah,
he got Victor Wembanyama out there doing his dirty work. That's crazy.
So you look at that.
He should be
So like there was two problems with that. The first thing was that happened. I was like, damn, because that was bad sportsmanship. Like, just play it the right way. That's my thing.
Yeah.
Second thing, and this is personal, is I had to see Draymond Green immediately. I was very upset by that. I'm like, damn, I got to see you right away. Like, damn. And then you ruined it for your team because he did not do good in round 2.
No.
And then you look at the 3-point. 3-point's always cool. I now have an issue with the 3-point competition. Really, it does what it's supposed to do.
It was kind of whack though. I ain't gonna lie.
This year, yeah,
it was kind of whack.
It was the worst I remember.
Yeah, it was too many. I ain't gonna lie. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here wearing this Pistons hat, but I have to say, as a Piston fan, how the fuck did Cade Cunningham make the 3-point contest?
I don't know. And I love Cade.
Yeah, I think they say he's shooting maybe like 40-45% from 3, but that's because he doesn't take a lot of them. You have to that should be measured into this factor. You know what I'm saying? This competition should be for lethal 3-point shooters, people who
I agree.
take
it's way too many
at a high rate and make them at a high rate, not somebody who shoot 10 out of the whole year and hit 5. Like, come on, man.
Right. There has to be a measurement of how people are invited into these contests. Absolutely. Because if you're only making, like you said, if you're shooting 55%, but you've shot, you shoot like 3 threes a game, 4 threes a game, 2 a game out of the 3 you shot, or 2 out of 4, you're going to get a high percentage. Absolutely.
Yeah. The highlight of that was Buddy Hield 31, and he didn't even win.
Right. Tyler Hero ended up winning. I was like, what?
And he was shooting.
And Buddy lit it up.
And round 1, round 2, though, he missed like the first 7 shots. And you got to pretty much go perfect. They were barely making the starry ball, too. Like, no one was making that.
Yeah,
I think
nobody was really making it. I think Buddy Hield was the first one to make a starry ball. Either him or Tyler Hero won.
Yeah, I think it's Tyler Hero.
Absolutely. I mean, it still did what it was supposed to do. Was it the greatest? No. Could it have been better? I think better selection because, the guys who you want to see now have already done it. Steph has done it. Clay has done it. So, like, it's time to figure out who's the right people to put in that position to play for this competition.
I will say this, though. Two things real quick. Let me just say this. As far as Jello performing at the halftime or whatever you call it, the show, the All-Star game, I think they didn't have no other choice because at this point he's pretty much just riding a wave of what he did over the internet. Like, he's pretty much just boosting up what he's doing. And I respect that, regardless, because I don't think this is going to last long. Like, I think he's probably going to come out one more song and that's it. But as far as the All-Star game Saturday night goes, like I said, Chris Paul should be arrested. Okay, Chris Paul is making Wemby look crazy out there, throwing the ball and doing some ridiculous stuff to disqualify themselves. But as far as the 3-point contest, I do love the fact that we have stars still participating in the 3-point contest, and they didn't give up on that. Seeing Dame out there, Buddy Hield, even though he's not an all-star, but he already won the 3-point contest. He showed up again. Tyler Hero, good seeing him out there. Now, I will say this about Cade. You're right, R&B. I looked up the numbers. He don't take that many threes. I think he does like 2 or 3 threes a game, right? So, but I love the fact that he was out there at least trying, because one thing I've been saying for the past 2 seasons is Cade is probably going to be a superstar in the next season or so, because he's got all the tools. He can shoot, he can pass, he's got the exceptional talent. And it's good to see him out there. You know what I'm saying? Even though he's not a 3-point shooter. So it was good to see the stars out there on the 3-point line. Shooting out there. But one thing I will say I think I will adjust is these people adjusting the freaking what do you call that again? What do you call those things? But what is it called? The one that you shoot, just the ones with the blue ball.
The money rack.
The money rack. I hate that they adjust that.
What do you mean? Like they can put it where they want?
Yes. If there's one thing I can change about the 3-point contest, I even love the starry ball. I hate the fact that you can adjust the money rack.
And real quick, was it always 70 seconds to shoot?
70?
They gave him 70 seconds last night.
I think it was 60.
To be a minute.
No,
it was 70. Because I remember him saying,
I'm saying I think it used to be 60.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay,
yeah. I'm used to being a minute.
It was 70 last night, but I didn't know if it was. I just had to ask. So go ahead.
I think they boosted it with the addition of the starry balls and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. Because you're taking 2 different additional shots.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
But like I said, the only issue I have with the 3-point contest is the adjustment of the money rack, because I believe that takes too much out of like the actual 3-point contest. If you have it on one end, like let's say you have that at the very end, then you know what to expect. You know what I'm saying? Like as a person watching it. But if you say that the money rack is at the top of the key, you're like, oh, I didn't really expect that person to get that many points. That's just my personal opinion, though. You know what I'm saying? But I love the 3-point contest.
Absolutely.
Oh, and last but not least, the dunk contest, real quick. Even though people have been saying the dunk contest been trash, all this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Of course, we know it's about talent, right? But can we give our boy Mac McClung some props? This dude literally for 3 dunk contests held that joint down.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I ain't knocking him at all.
And he won $300,000.
But if I'm an NBA player,
that's not in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not a knock on Mac. How you say it? Mac what? McClung?
McClung.
Mm-hmm. This is not a knock on him at all. He did that. But the NBA players should be ashamed of themselves.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
Be ashamed of themselves that you let this dude, even the announcer said last night, he looks like he sells insurance. You let this little white dude in the D League.
Oh, shoot.
Come up, not once.
And just dominate.
I thought he was with Orlando now.
No, they have him on a 2-way.
Okay.
Yeah.
You didn't let him do
it's
it
sad.
once. You didn't let him do it once. You didn't let him do it twice. You let him become the first 3-time dunk
Yes,
contest winner.
from the G League.
And then John Moran gonna tweet, "Oh, he gonna
He should
make
be
his
ashamed.
dunk. Levine, AG, y'all ready?" Like, oh, now all of a
No,
sudden, and like, listen, he's
no.
been doing his thing. He's been the highlight. He's been the surprise. But like, let's call it what it is. The NBA players should be ashamed of themselves that
Hey,
you
we
have
got it. Go ahead.
no that they haven't stepped in to do this competition. It's been
Yeah,
faltering and honestly, from top to bottom, it's been horrible since we got the Gordon and Levine 2 years in a row. And hey, I
right.
mean that first year was incredible, but the second year was damn good too. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
it's just, because when you have guys like John Morant, you have Anthony Edwards, you have, these guys, Zion, if he could, God forbid, stay healthy, these guys who could be prolific dunkers in this contest and they just won't do it. It's just sad. That's all.
I blame LeBron.
Yeah, I blame LeBron for he the one started that trend. He
Yep.
definitely was the one started that trend of being like the prolific because he just always wanted to try to be so. I felt like I'm gonna be honest with you. I truly feel like LeBron in his heart of hearts really wanted to do the dunk contest, but he wanted to be so different to try to separate himself from like the Kobe's and the Jordans and all that stuff. And he chose
Mm-hmm.
to go
Mm-hmm.
a different route because he liked to try to be so different or whatever. And then now it's cost the whole damn competition as a whole. But
Yep.
what I was gonna say though was I also want to say hats off to Stephon Castle last night too. I
Mm.
felt like he had some pretty good dunks, man. Some exciting dunks that had me, kind of like damn and in all, and excited me or whatever. He gave Matt McClung a little run for his money, but
He
I
did.
gotta give it to the white boy, man. That white boy. He came and did some shit. He came and did some
Mm-hmm.
shit again, and he said that this was gonna be his last time doing it. But they were trying to Vince Carter and some of the guys. I don't know if y'all watched the after show. They were trying to
Mm-mm.
talk him into doing it again next year because they said that he's kind of like saving the competition right now. And they asked him, if he could, if John Morant and some of these other superstar dunkers would step up and do it, would he be willing to, try to go for a four-peat against them? And he
Mm-hmm.
didn't really give a clear answer on it, but hopefully we can get some of these guys to, I don't, I. It's amazing to me. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Call me what you want, say what you want. I think it shouldn't be a decision. I think it should be a selection process, and if you turn down the selection, it should be some type of
Mm-hmm.
fine or something. You got to think of something to try to force these dudes to get out on this court because there's no legit reason that these motherfuckers are just choosing not to do it outside of the fact that they just want to be assholes about it. They're lazy and they're trying to be
Exactly.
like LeBron. They're lazy and they're trying to be like LeBron. Once he
Yep.
started that trend, it seems like we haven't, gotten any real superstars to step up and do it anymore, and it's ridiculous at this point. Like do the fucking dunk contest. Keep
Well,
it.
Exactly.
Sometimes there's nothing wrong with tradition.
like, and I was saying this to my buddy last night because he was like really going through the channels of how bad it is. My boy Kiernan. And he was just like really like he's like, I don't know why I fucking watch this anymore. Every year, same shit. I'm fucking pissed. He's like, I just
Yeah.
wasted 2 hours of my life watching this garbage. And I said to him, I said, well, the one thing is now, and this is just my personal opinion, is I feel like all these all-star format things are being watered down. Look how pathetic the Pro Bowl is. Like it's like, well, what's that thing we played in school? Run, pass, punt, or
Yeah.
whatever. It's kind of like
Yeah.
that. So it's just like, but it stemmed from what R&B said, laziness. Because when they did that last Pro Bowl, like they
Mm-hmm.
weren't really playing. You had them just nonchalantly handing the ball off like they weren't trying. You looked at the
Mm-hmm.
All Star game in recent years. After that first year of when Kobe passed and they did the target score, like after that, it wasn't competitive anymore. Like that was the year they tried. It was like, all right, this is for Kobe. We're gonna try.
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards, we're done. Kobe's no
See,
longer,
with,
you know.
with the Pro Bowl, I have to say, man, I remember Pro Bowls that were competitive. I remember watching Ray Lewis tear some people up in the Pro Bowl
Yep.
back in the day,
I got
watching that shit on the
too.
weekend. But
I gotta come here. Mac is bringing the dunk contest back.
Yeah, he brought it back.
the Mac attack. But
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, man, with the Pro Bowl, I kind of understand it a little bit more as far as with football being that it's such a physical sport. It's so physical, you know what I'm saying? And that, like I just said, at one point, I remember watching Pro Bowls where Ray Lewis would be over there, and you would watch him, tearing people up like it was week 10 of the season. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So I can kind of understand the mindset of not really wanting to. I ain't gonna say give they all, but because you should want to compete, but I can kind of understand the watering down of that a little bit because it's such a physical and taxing sport to the body. But as far as with the NBA, bro, it's come on, like it's one game, it's
Mm-hmm.
one weekend. You know what I'm saying? Like we've never seen anybody get hurt in the All-Star game. We've never seen anybody get hurt in dunk contests. Not saying
Right.
it can't happen, but like just come on, man. Like just
Right.
compete. Just
I
compete.
I
And
I
that's
agree with.
Sport is supposed to
and
be
I
about
think
competition.
I think it should be part of I think in a sense it should be like a requirement. Personally,
Yeah, that's
I
what
think
R&B was saying.
That's what I said.
you know
I think it
it
R&B
should.
should
said the same thing.
it should be a requirement because like if like for example, take last week you did that job, right? So like if you didn't go do that job, what's the result? You don't get paid, right? So if you
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
go to work tomorrow, or well, no, you're usually off Mondays, Tuesday, you don't get paid. That's my thing. It's just like it's I have the thing I said the other day to someone about raising kids. I said you don't give them options, you give them direction, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing should be true about these leagues. Don't give them options, give them direction. Like this is what we need for you to do, and this is what you're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
The only way you can't do it is if you're hurt. If you were hurt and you're not cleared by a doctor, okay. But if you're healthy and able to play, this is what you do. If you choose to not do that,
and we're gonna have our own doctors to work. As far as like,
To
because
see
how
what's
some
going on.
Americans do, they'll try to get
Mm-hmm.
slick and go to their doctor and not get the clearance. Like, nah, we want you to see our.
right? We
Yeah.
want to see our physician. You go see your team doctor, and then you see our doctor and see if it matches.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Unless it's something like a torn ACL, Achilles,
Yeah, that's different. That's different.
But
like
Yeah,
that.
but
You know,
see,
but
without stating the obvious.
but then
yeah.
and if you don't do that, okay, then you pay this, and then if we do it again next year and you refuse again, now you pay. So like the first year, we're gonna fine you 25K. If you don't do it next year, we're gonna fine you 50K. You don't do the third year, 100K. Eventually, you're gonna get tired of paying those fines. You should be like, all right, I'm gonna just do it. Like it's a dunk contest. We're not asking you for your freaking spleen here.
Right.
But this goes back to what I was saying about how they pay out these athletes. This is exactly what I was saying last week when I said I believe they should give a guaranteed contract, right? But also give contracts with incentives. So, for example, you get paid when you win, and you get paid if you lose, but you get paid less. You see what I'm saying? Now, I know a lot of people probably won't agree with that, but watch how hard they'll play and watch how they'll show up if this game was based on winning and losing. Plus, you also get paid if you're in an all-star game. Like, there should be some type of like incentive, because giving a person 30, 40, 50 million a year and then saying, oh yeah, we need you to show up to an all-star game or we need you to play hard in the all-star game, that's not going to happen. That's why I blame LeBron, because I remember in 2010 when he was like his like he was saying to everybody, "Oh well, I'm gonna be in the dunk contest," and then we was like, "All right, he's gonna be in the dunk contest," and he said, "No, I'm not gonna do it." That kind of stuff is like it's like being a spoiled brat.
It's like, why
You're
say
being
it if you had no intention or meaning to do it?
exactly, and you're a big name. You're not like a small name. You're like one of the top 4, top 3 players in the league at that time in 2010. So what?
Me
Like I said,
personally, I always thought he wouldn't do it because I didn't think he had the aerial repertoire to get it done. So I thought he
well,
was scared and shied away from it.
I agree with that because I don't really think he got a dunk package like that. Like I don't think he got that many dunks that he can do.
It's this power. I've seen him do some amazing shit in the free throw line. When
Mm-hmm.
like in Miami or in Cleveland, when they would do the
Mm-hmm.
free throw line, and he always used to kind of do little special dunks, throwing it off the shot clock and shit like that. I done seen him do
Yeah,
stuff like that. But again, uh, is it? Do you have enough of an aerial repertoire to where you can compete against some of these other guys? Like if he would have did it in the era like Iguodala, Zach LaVine, Aaron Gordon, I don't think
yeah.
he
Nah,
had
I don't think
to
no,
beat
not at
those
all.
guys, and he
Not
shied away from.
yeah, because he don't want to lose. He don't want to be known as somebody that came in the 4th place. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, I think the NBA needs to restructure these contracts where they do it where okay, if you get an All-Star nod, you have to play an All-Star game. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like you have to play hard in the All-Star game and you get paid. If your team win, you get this amount of money.
If you
You know
lose,
what I'm
you get
saying?
this.
If you lose, you get half of that. You know what I'm saying? Because that will motivate them to go out there and play hard. Because right now they're not going to do it. They're just not. They're too rich. Think about it.
Yeah.
Somebody like Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Steph Curry, they're billionaires. All 3 of those dudes are pretty much billionaires. You know what I'm saying? Like they're not going to work as hard as somebody like Matt McClung. Matt McClung is literally working check to check. He's making like I think $50,000 in the G League. So every time he goes out there and perform in that dunk contest, he gets 100,000. If he wins the competition, he get 300,000. So it's like he's got something to play for. But somebody like Ja Morant, who's already $100-200 million worth, he's not going to go out there in a dunk contest. Like he already got the money. So it just goes to show you they're not motivated like that because they're getting paid way too much. That's just my opinion. But I honestly believe that the NBA got to fix that.
Paid way too much. I think they getting paid what they worth. I think that they just, like you said earlier, they just it's that they're taking advantage of the fact that they're paid and becoming spoiled little baby bitches. And they
Yeah,
need to step the fuck up and keep the tradition going. And you know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And think about those that came before them that did not get paid that.
I
That
agree.
Michael Jordan
Yeah,
did 4 dunk contests at a
yep.
time when he was younger and was not making what some of these guys are making.
No,
And he
same with Kobe. Yep.
for the competition of it to go out there and show, oh, Diamond B in this motherfucker, oh, Clyde in this motherfucker. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm about
and
to you know what I'm
like
saying?
Larry Bird said, he would walk in the locker room and ask who's going to come in second. That mentality. That's because they were getting paid, but they weren't like getting paid like crazy money. But also they were competitive. Like you want to see.
They were making good money for that era of life for them.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? But like you said, it wasn't about the money. It was the competitive. I want to show that
yeah,
I am better than you.
yeah.
I'm better than you.
Yep. I remember. I don't know if y'all remember this. Remember they used to have like I think it was like 1 or 2 All-Star games. They used to have one-on-one competitions.
I don't remember that.
You don't, man. Who went up against each other? I think look it up. It was Dr. J versus Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I don't know if it was during the All-Star weekend, but it was definitely a one-on-one that was like on television. I have it in like my memory somewhere. Look, if y'all get a chance, look it up. But that's what I'm saying. It's competition. That's my whole point. It's being competitive. It's going out there showing that you are putting on the best product for the NBA. Because right now, I'll keep it a stack with you, bro. I turned from the dunk contest and I was watching hockey. Cause those mofos, they were fighting. They were fighting for our nation, Canada and U.S.
So with that
Yeah.
being said, we're talking about competitiveness. Um, with this new format, do you guys believe tonight the All Star game will be more competitive now that but it explain it to me a little bit because Adam Silver, he got too much room between them big old ears because doing shit, and I'm just like, bro, why? Why are you doing this? Like all I know is
So
there's four teams: Team
yeah,
Ken, Team Chuck, Team Shaq. Kenny got
yeah,
screwed. He got like all the guards. Um, and then there's the Rising team as well.
right.
It's four teams, and then it's a tournament. Like what is with this guy in tournaments?
No, but all right. But here's the thing. This is
Sorry,
what I like
I
about.
think this, oh, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I'll let you go. RB, go ahead.
No, only thing I was gonna say is that I think the way that he formatted it was to try to see if he can gauge some type of competition out of it. Because I
Right.
believe that those young rising stars are gonna try to go at some of these older teams, and and and,
Mm-hmm.
and so we'll see with the sponsors. You got Chuck, you got Shaq. Maybe they talk a little shit to try to get them fired up. But go ahead, Raj.
No, you're right, and that's what I was going to say as well. But to kind of explain the format, even though they're like Shaq, Chuck, and you got Candace Parker got a team, Kenny got a team, right?
Right.
They're all specialty teams. Like you got Candace who got the G League, right?
Mm-hmm.
I believe Chuck got all the international players. I believe Kenny got all the young players and stuff like that, and then Shaq got the veterans. That's the way they pretty much broke it down. Even though they didn't, they said they all like drafted them. It pretty much, if you look at the draft or you look at the people that's on the team, it pretty much comes out like that. That they're all like specialty teams, like international veterans, G League players. And then I don't know what the other one is, but anyways, I think it's going to be competition because this is the first time we're going to see the G League go up against NBA stars.
It is,
So
and
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to that because if they put up some crazy numbers and beat the NBA stars, then we got to redo the whole All Star game. Throw the whole All Star game away because these G League players are balling.
What
Is it
about
G
Wimby
League or
understand that
Rising
he's not
Star?
here to make any friends this All Star weekend? He here to compete. You think he gonna hold up to those words? He seemed
Oh,
like he got that type of bravado about his mentality.
I love Wimby. I love Wimby. I think Wimby is probably going to be like Anthony Edwards said, because Anthony Edwards, I don't want to go into his life, but I don't think he's the face of the league. I think Wimby is definitely a face of the league because Wimby is like he's like a machine, bro.
Yeah,
This,
I think Anthony Edwards has what it takes to be the face of the league, talent
yeah,
wise.
yeah,
He just does not get what's the best way to say this? I don't
hmm
think he gets the maximum results out of his talent at all times because I think a lot of the times he's not serious enough.
right,
He's serious. He turned it on and off too much. Ain't nobody, and I think a lot of people when they hear people say that the ultimate thing is, oh, y'all want us to be Kobe, y'all want us to be Jordan. No, we just want you to be you, but be take some of what they being some of what they were is what made them who they are. And
yes,
that's what breeds greatness. That's why when people try to say, "Oh, how could you be a Kobe fan and he was just a copycat of Jordan?" Everybody in that era was a copycat of Jordan. He just did
yeah,
it the best. But he took what he stole that from Jordan. What made him him? That's
right,
what greatness. Michael Jackson watched David Ruffin and James Brown. That's
yep,
what made him Michael Jackson. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
Tupac watched like it's greatness should breed greatness. Metal should
yes,
iron sharpens iron. It's supposed
I
to be a
agree with that.
domino
Yeah,
effect. And like these dudes just don't get that shit. Like Anthony Edwards, I watched the if you guys ever get a chance to check it out on Netflix, they had a little series. What was it like? I think it was called like Starting Five or something like that. But it was like
yeah,
profiling like LeBron, Anthony Edwards, and some. And I watched the whole little series or whatever. It was
hmm
at one point on there where I saw Anthony Edwards literally seriously say that he doesn't work out and he
yeah.
liked to eat a lot of
Oh,
shit. He eat
he don't lift
junk food and
weights.
stuff like. Yeah, he say I don't lift weights. He doesn't
Yeah,
lift weights. And it's like, bro, what type of message is that to put across to the next generation coming behind you? Because now
yeah,
you just gonna get another Anthony Edwards ass talented nigga that say he don't lift weights or some shit like that, and he'll
Mm-hmm.
never be able to get that maximum potential out of all of the fucking talent that he has. When he can be a 30 to 32 point night scorer, he'll just end up
Mm-hmm.
being your average 25, 4-4 for about 7 years, and then fall off the face of the earth, and we wonder what the fuck happened to him.
Yeah, and
It's all
that's
about
all.
the work. You're only gonna get out of it what you put into it. Got to remember that shit.
That's a fact. And you know what, R&B, to kind of piggyback off of that and how you said he's like off and on serious and not serious, right? It kind of shows you why a lot of players don't like playing with Anthony Edwards. You know what I'm saying? Like Cat, even though he was traded, I can guarantee you he was like, nah, I can't be around this dude too long because he's not trying to win a championship. He's not trying to be a winner. And like you said, greatness breeds greatness. At this point, I can't take Anthony Edwards serious because his personal life is crazy, bro. Like,
Yeah, that's it, man.
like,
Yeah.
what kind of message are you teaching young men? You know what I'm saying? Like, as a
Well,
as a father,
for one, you got to remember he don't have a father. He didn't have a father in his life, so it was never taught to him. And
somebody got to pull him in,
it kind of documents that in that documentary that I'm talking about. He was raised
right?
pretty much by his mother and sister. His mother
Yeah,
passed away, rest her soul, and it
right.
was kind of left to the sister to kind of bring him the rest of the way. But he didn't really have a real male father figure in his life, not a consistent one. And this
Man,
is what happened.
somebody got to pull him in because he's almost ruining his career. Like, and I love Anthony Edwards. Like, I think he's one of the
I
best
love him
players in the
too. I
game.
think he's a great talent. He's a
But it's
great
just
talent.
he's like you said, those little snippets of like those messages that he's giving out, it's like it's not going to work in the NBA. But going back to Wemby, kind of circle back, and I don't mean to go all the way with it, but Wemby, you can tell he was raised in a two-parent household. And he's not American. And I'm not knocking us as Americans, but their mentality is completely different. Completely different. Like you can see Wemby doesn't even play for money. Like he doesn't care about the money. He cares about being great.
Mhm.
And that's something like Jokic. Jokic low key don't even really play basketball to his fullest potential in my opinion. I think Jokic is just like kind of just doing his thing, but you could tell like he don't really care about the fame and stuff like that. Like he don't even care about the recognition.
Bro, when that man won the championship, I never seen someone look more disinterested.
Yeah, he looked like he was disappointed.
They said that he was ready to get back to Serbia. He was glad that the season was over and that he was just
Yeah,
ready to get back home.
And then they were in
yeah,
the conference and they're like, oh, are you ready for the parade? And he goes, parade. And then he like looks to like his representation. He goes, when's the parade? They're like Thursday. He goes, oh, just want to get back to my horses.
yeah, for real. But
Like,
that's what I'm saying. The mentality is totally different than Americans, man. I don't know.
like he just literally likes basketball and is good at it.
But that what Mike just detailed right there should be a driving force of motivation for the American players. And dare I say
Mm-hmm.
it, y'all know I gotta be the one to say it, but the black American players.
Yeah,
You should
that's what we
be
mean. Yeah,
goddamn ashamed of yourself to let this big out of shape white Serbian come over here and dominate in your league without even truly even giving a damn to care like
not
that.
even
He
trying.
care, yeah, he cared and worried more about getting back to his homeland to ride horses than he give a fuck about really putting work in and stuff like that. And not saying that he don't care to put any type of work in, because if he didn't, they wouldn't win. He wouldn't
Of
be as
course.
great as he is. So I'm not gonna say, but you get what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
he just over here like he remind me of the cab driver from Rush Hour 2 or Rush Hour 3. He was
Yeah.
so disdained about Americans until he got cool with Chris and Jackie or whatever. But it's like, you Americans, you just late. That's what I think of when I look
Yeah.
at Nicole. It's like you Americans, you not good enough. You just lazy. I'm better than you. I don't even have to try. I'm just better. I don't try and I go out 30-point triple double on you bums. You should
Yep.
be fucking ashamed to let somebody do you like that.
And that ties back to Luka too. Luka, same thing. They literally traded Luka because they said he weighed 270 pounds, which was a complete lie. But they said that he was out of shape. He doesn't care about working out. He doesn't care about working on his game outside of practice. And they traded a person that brought him to the finals. And the same type of mentality.
Doubles and take a team to the finals.
Come on, man.
Team that shouldn't even sniff the finals.
They shouldn't have been in the finals. Not even close. But it goes to show you, like you said, R&B, Americans, a.k.a. the Black American players, need to be ashamed of themselves. And that ties back to Anthony Edwards.
I was just about to say, who did he knock off en route to get into that finals too? Anthony Edwards.
Because that's what bothers me.
Instead of attacking the lane and tearing that bitch down like he got the talent to do.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. And got a gold medal. You see what I'm saying? It's like we gotta stop disrespecting our talent. And that goes with everything. If we're going to do it, do it. Tradition is important because what's going to happen is you're going to have international players like Wemby, who's black, right?
Yeah.
Players like Giannis, who's black, but they're not Americans. And they're going to dominate the league in 10 years. And then we're going to be like, yo, how the hell we build this whole entire league? And now we don't even recognize who the stars are.
Yeah. At least with Wemby and Giannis, even though they're not American, I don't really care about all that. They black at the end of the day, and they got that mentality. So I respect that much out of them.
Right.
And they got that mentality like I'm going to be better than you. I'm not trying to be your bestie and none of that. We can probably go have a drink when it's all said and done. But for right now, in between these lines, I want to kill you. And that's what we talk about with the mentality. When Anthony Edwards matched up against Dallas in the Western Conference Finals, if you put Michael Jordan or Kobe in his place, I'm not saying they lock Luka down. Luka not going to no finals, man. Especially being slow and out of shape. He's not getting to no finals. Not against either one of those mentalities. It would have took one good game for Luka to hit that game winner on Rudy Gobert, and Michael Jordan would have been like, "I got that son of a bitch the rest of this series. Nobody else better check him. If it ain't me or Scotty, Scotty, get the fuck out the way. Nobody else better check him." He's not doing that to Luke Longley again. He's not doing that to Bill Wennington again. We got his ass.
Yeah.
That's facts.
We're gonna see with that. Nothing, no lies there. Coming up on time. We still got a little bit of time. I want to flip back to the NFL because there's a lot of craziness going on. I just read, and it kind of ties in because I was moving towards Aaron Rodgers, but I want to bring up Kirk Cousins because I'm reading here that the Falcons. We know you know how it is. The Super Bowl just happened, but the new league year starts around March 10th, March 15th. Much we already talking about next year. So I bring it up because the Jets informed Aaron Rodgers they're done with him. From what I'm also reading, Rodgers pleaded to stay with the team, but they wanted to go forward. Rumors, there's speculation that he's going to play for the Rams and that Stafford is going to be traded. So that's all. That's like three topics, but they all kind of are related. The reason I bring Kirk Cousins up is because now what this report I'm reading from Bleacher Report is saying that the Falcons and that Kirk Cousins are going to have a conversation about his future. It also says that this season they will eat up. Hold on, I think it was $27 million in dead money that they're going to have to eat up due to Kirk Cousins. His money is guaranteed. But now there's speculation that Kirk Cousins is going to the Jets. So, yeah. I know there's a lot to unfold there. Raj, your face makes me want to let you go first.
Right. Please.
I don't know if I'm gonna watch the Jets next season, man. I hate this team. I hate this team because first off, all right, let me just say this: you're trading away well, not trading away. You're letting go Aaron Rodgers to basically pick up another Aaron Rodgers. That doesn't make any
He had a
sense.
much better season than Kirk Cousins. Stop that lie.
27.5 is guaranteed for him.
But we're going to get the same results, R&B. That's what I'm saying. The Jets are
It's
going to
gonna
get
be
this.
worse.
It's
It's
going to be
worse.
this. It can't get no worse. It can't get any. What, we going to not win any games? I mean, we got we got no chance of going nowhere. That's my point.
He gonna throw more interceptions. He's gonna have way more bad games. Everything is gonna be out of sync. Kirk Cousins is done.
I know he's done, but that's my point. That's my whole point. Aaron Rodgers, Kirk Cousins are going to give us the same results, which means no playoffs, no wins. Like, we're probably going to get 1 or 2 wins this season.
I
So,
personally think it's foolish to not run it back with Aaron one more year. That's just my opinion. For what he did for y'all, even though it didn't equate to the wins, for what he did coming off an Achilles at his age, should tell a experienced football mind that with that 1 year up under him, if we improve this offensive line, we should be able to be better.
yes. And you know what? After thinking about it for a long time, I kind of lean towards that side because it wouldn't hurt, especially knowing that you got somebody like Devontae Adams who can potentially stay if Aaron Rodgers stays, right?
He's not going to stay now. I can guarantee you that. He's going to
Well,
want out.
no, of course he's gone. Yeah, I know he's gone now, but I'm just saying, like, if Aaron Rodgers were still there would have been a greater chance for him staying. So at least we have something to watch. At least we would have something to cheer for. Now we got nothing to cheer for because we're not going to have a quarterback, and our team is basically demolished. It's done. The young stars, they're still learning. They're not in a position to win right now. So I look at it like this: Kirk Cousins to the Jets is a horrible move. I wish they would just stop these type of rumors. We need to just build through the draft. And I feel bad, man. I actually feel bad for Aaron Rodgers now because I didn't even know that he wanted to really stay. I thought he was the one who said, "Nah, I'm gone."
Be honest with you though, the rumor that he just said that sound the most horrific of all of them was really the Rams talking about trading Matthew Stafford and
Yeah, that's
bringing in Aaron
ridiculous.
Rodgers. Like what? That
That's
sound like
that's
that sound
ridiculous.
completely asinine in my opinion.
Yeah,
As
that's
an Aaron
ridiculous.
Rodgers fan, that sounds asinine.
Well,
Yeah,
Stafford just had y'all one play away from the NFC Championship
well,
right.
here, here,
possibly to go to the Super Bowl.
here's why. I'm going to tell you why because I read some speculation as to why. The first thing is the Rams. Matthew Stafford's 36 years old. Even though he's very serviceable, from what I'm reading and what I've heard, is that the Rams don't want to extend his deal and he doesn't want to restructure the deal. So,
Yeah, I did hear that. I heard
so if
that.
that's the case, they're going to be like this, right? And it's going to make the relationship go like this. So the best thing to do in that situation, if it were me, if we couldn't come to an agreement, is to get out of that deal before it gets bad and it makes it harder when it's bad. Now, that's as if I were a GM or an owner. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the Giants come into play because speculation has it is that the Rams want the Giants' third round pick, or their third overall pick. I'm sorry, as part of the deal with Matthew Stafford. Another thing that I read is I guess Matthew Stafford's wife takes to social media a lot and says shit. I don't know how true
You
it
know
is.
what, Mike? You get away with it with Swift, so I'm gonna get away with it. I hate Kelly Stafford. She is a bitch. She's a bitch.
Oh.
So organization doesn't like that. But the other thing is that I don't know what their plan is with that third pick if they were to come to fruition. But if it weren't, the belief is that they need a bridge quarterback, someone to hold down the fort in a sense until they can get whatever it is they're looking for. They believe Aaron Rodgers is that guy who can do that for them. that system would work for him. That's between what I've read and what I've heard in other media about this situation as it pertains to Aaron Rodgers. I personally think and this is one of those situations where if he's under contract, you keep him. Like, because he's still serviceable. He still fits your system. For Christ's sake, they almost won that game against Philly. Like our NFC.
That's what I'm saying. So what are we doing?
Our NFC championship was almost the Rams in Washington. So
Yeah.
I mean, but
and then I'd also have to say too, real quick, I don't understand why Stafford don't want to restructure either. Though you're 36,
Right.
you've made plenty of money throughout your
Mhm.
career. You know you on the tail end of your shit more so than the beginning. Why not restructure it? At this point in your career, it should be about winning. It should be about trying to maximize, but maximize just getting as many Super Bowl championships as you can. And if the best way of doing that is restructuring your contract to be able to bring in more talent, then why not do that? I don't understand that. That's selfish, man. Must be just as much of a bitch as his wife.
No, it's probably his wife telling him to do that. Like, you're not going to restructure.
We're not restructuring, Matthew.
I don't care what they say. You're not doing it.
You brought this city a championship.
What more do they want from you? Yeah. Yeah, I can see that happening.
And it's definitely just, and if you're the Rams, like,
this is a dumb move.
Does Aaron Rodgers really help?
No.
Because now there's also speculations about Matthew Stafford being traded to the Steelers. Don't want that.
No. Look, listen.
There's a rumor out there that the Steelers reached out to the Jaguars for Trevor Lawrence.
I seen that.
It's just like,
let's just be real. The Steelers are going to end up with Aaron Rodgers. End of story.
And I won't watch one game.
Probably.
Even more
realer, Matthew Stafford will probably end up getting traded because Kelly said if he restructures, she's going to sleep with the backup.
Wasn't that the way it happened the first time? Yo, that's crazy. Yo, that is wild. All right, well, let me say this. That's the best fit for everybody when it comes down to it, Mike. And I know you hate to hear it because that's your team. But listen. Listen.
Best fit is for Aaron Rodgers to retire.
No.
He doesn't have to torture any team.
No. Listen to me, Mike.
I don't want to hear about him going.
No, you have to.
I don't want to hear about him going into a cave in the Middle East, and I had to.
It's only one season, though. It's only one season.
One season I won't watch.
Well, this is what I'm trying to tell you. All right, look. Kurt Russell. I'm about to call him Kurt Russell.
Now?
Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson is done, bro. He's cooked. He's no longer coming back to Pittsburgh, right? So you guys. So at this point, you need a veteran quarterback that can win some playoff games. And as much as I hate to say it, Aaron Rodgers is that guy.
No, he's not.
Because I think hold on. He got enough to get you guys there. With the amount of talent that he got, I think he can do it. He just needs the right support system. He just needs the right coaches and need the right players that believe in him.
That's what it is.
And that's why I'm mad at the Jets.
Pittsburgh has shown in their recent history here, as great of a franchise as they have been in the past, these past maybe 10 years or so, they have not been that as far as getting what they need to support their aging quarterback. From Ben Roethlisberger, they didn't do a good job with getting the young quarterback to replace Ben Roethlisberger. And the young quarterbacks that they've had since being retired, they didn't do a good job of putting supporting cast around them. You know, they have had good defenses, They stayed consistent at being solid to good defenses. The running game was non-existent for a minute in Pittsburgh, which is an anomaly when you think of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They've always been known for having great running games. You know what I'm saying? And it disappeared for a second. So what I'm saying is, if you're not going to tell me that Pittsburgh focus isn't let's get this offensive line back to Pittsburgh style offensive line, and let's
Mhm.
go get another receiver opposite George Pickens that can make plays on the outside. I
That's a
don't
big,
understand how Aaron Rodgers could do anything for them. Now, if you
that's
tell me they're going to build this offensive line to make it where they can run the ball better and protect him, and that Devontae Adams is going to be an addition along with him opposite George Pickens, then yeah,
Right.
now you talking about something with the mind of Mike Tomlin. You talking about something, but that's a lot.
But I know it's a lot to ask for, but I think it can happen
It's not a
because
lot to ask for. It's a lot for them to think that a team is going to accomplish that we haven't seen them accomplish in damn near 10 years plus.
yeah.
I
Well,
just and to like the couple things is like that's if Pickens even sticks around because he said some things that makes me feel like he don't want to be there, and we know how the receiver song and dance goes with the Steelers.
He
And
he
the
said some things that made it seem like he didn't want to be there because he didn't like the quarterbacks that he had throwing him the ball. He was not really seeing eye to eye with Russell Wilson. He wasn't feeling the Justin Fields experiment because Justin Fields wouldn't throw the ball down the field. He just he sounds like a number. Well, I'm not gonna give a number to it, but he sounds like a good receiver that's mad that no one can get him the ball.
right.
Yeah, yep, and that's definitely an astute possibility. Um, I will say that, but I also think that you know I get it. They need to do something. Something's better than nothing, but it's going to end up the same result. The same result we had this season. They're going to play better. They'll win, whatever, 10 games. And then when it gets to the nitty gritty, they're going to lose again. We know this, especially with their scheduled opponent list for this season. No, it's just not going to work. You know, you're better off just trying to rebuild. But
If they build that offensive line, like I said, and bring in Devontae with Aaron, you might be on to something. Because I give Rodgers this much. From what Aaron showed this year with the Jets, I do believe he has enough that if that Pittsburgh defense can show up and be the Pittsburgh defense that it should be, and they can get in the playoff game and they can play good enough to where they keep a game tight, I
Hmm.
believe Aaron still has enough left in the tank to where he can go and get a close playoff game with a defense playing good in a running game.
That's what I'm saying. I think he can get them over that particular hump. Like I think if they can hold up their end as far as on the defense, the run game will be the run game, but Aaron Rodgers can throw them their passes that they need to win. You know what I'm saying? And like we were saying before with Devontae Adams, if they can find a way to get Devontae, which I think they probably will make a move to make it happen for Aaron, they got a great opportunity to go to the AFC Championship. They got a better opportunity than most of the teams out there. You know what I'm saying? But
I
it's
wouldn't
going
say
to
a great opportunity, but it would be decent. Maybe
yeah,
you still got to think about Buffalo and the Ravens, and I believe the Bengals will be right back in the mix next year.
yeah.
If they not back in the mix next year, I'm calling for them to trade Joe Burrow, get him out of there,
Wow.
and let Jamar Chase get up out of there too. Because if you don't build a fucking defense for those two,
So
and
you
give
gonna blow the whole team up after next season?
no, I'm calling for them to deserve better than have to sit and suffer through putting up triple crown and MVP numbers
Yeah,
and
I
not
agree.
sniff the
And
playoffs
not
because
get
of
nowhere.
sorry ass defense and sorry
Yeah.
coaching. But so they
Yeah.
better be back in the mix next year, or somebody needs to be fired.
So the last topic I want to get on,
Yeah.
about 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Dak, Dak Prescott says they're close to the Eagles.
No. No, the only way they're close is if they fly by each other or they go in each other's town. That's the only way.
Dak Prescott says that they have. Oh God, I gotta find the quote because
I saw it. I saw it.
Yeah, we all
He
seen it.
basically said that this is the we beat this team before, and this is the team that the hoisted the Lombardi Trophy. So I feel like we right here. We're close. We
No, absolutely not.
like here's the thing, okay? I'm not gonna lie. What is he supposed to say? We get that, right? Like you're supposed
He's
to
supposed to say the same thing Micah Parsons said. Get some goddamn talent in here, Jerry.
you're
Yep.
supposed to have belief in your team, but for you to say that knowing they won and you haven't even like sniffed an NFC championship since like 95, like bro, no. You're not. It's not worth it. You're not. Not worth it. Isn't the right term. There's no way you can believe that and really stand by it. They just really the fact that he said this is asinine.
Yeah.
Dallas is with their new coaching hire. I believe that put them further away. You lost. Who did they lose? Did they lose some players
Mike
too?
McCarthy.
Yeah, they
Oh, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure with the players.
Yeah, none of that really didn't begin
Yeah,
here.
none that moves the needle.
Right. So they haven't done, and I don't know what's going to happen once we get into free agency and and all that in the off season and trading, but if they don't do anything to move the envelope, this is over. This is done. This is finito. Give it up. They're going
Yeah.
to be awful. And for you to sit up here and believe that you're not even in the same stratosphere with the Washington Commanders right now. Like the Commanders are definitely the second best team in that division right now.
Yeah.
Where followed by default, you have to put Dallas third because the Giants are such a mess. There's no way you could put them there, right?
No
So
way you can put them there, but it wouldn't be a surprise to see them bounce back and be better before the Cowboys can
but
bounce
Yeah.
back.
Yeah.
It wouldn't
Exactly.
be a surprise at all.
I believe that the Giants will make an attempt to make some moves. They have to. You got to get a quarterback. You have to get an offensive line, and you have to get a serviceable defense. You don't need this top tier defense right off the bat. Just serviceable enough to get some stops and do their job. But as it stands right now, because I'm telling you, I read and I put it in last week's notes, but the Commanders are looking to go all out for Jaden Daniels right now under this rookie deal. We did talk about it briefly because I mentioned about Kyle Pitts rumors from Atlanta. And if they can get another guy who's very serviceable next to Scary Terry receiving the ball, and they get a prolific, or not even prolific, but someone who can really run the ball well. I mean, their running backs are good, but they get someone a little more solid. They definitely got an opportunity to make some noise.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. My take on that. My take on Dak Prescott saying that real quick. That's cap. That's cap.
Yeah, it's cap.
Okay. To be quite honest, if they would have asked me that question and I'm Dak, I'm gonna just say this. I'm gonna say to everybody, like, look, we're just gonna focus on getting to the playoffs and see what happens. We're not even thinking about NFC Championship. We're not thinking about, the Super Bowl. All we're thinking about is getting back into the playoffs. Period. In a discussion. Because they got to focus on that before they can say, oh, yeah, we're NFC champions. We're close to. No, get to that thing first.
Mm-hmm.
That should be the main focus because at this point, your whole team is done. Like, they don't believe in you, Dak. They don't even believe that you can get them past first round. So forget about NFC Championship. Get to the freaking playoffs and be healthy. Because you had Cooper Rush out there playing. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll see what they bring to the table. Well, guys, we are out of time today. Is there anything else you guys want to cover quick before I sign off of here and go to Cosmos now? Ugh.
Only thing I'm gonna say to end off, man, is I just hope to see some competition and competing in this All Star
Yes.
little
Yeah,
shit that's going on tonight. I hope they compete, man. Give us something to watch. Give the fans that have made all of you millionaires and billionaires who you are
Yes.
in your bank accounts. Give us what we deserve as well as we've given you what you deserve.
Exactly.
exactly.
I,
Our hard-earned money, our time, our mental health. Like,
yeah. I second that. And I just want to say this too, to addition to that, if the G League beats any NBA team, I'm telling you right now, the All-Star game is cooked. They need to go ahead and throw the whole format away and make it G League versus
What,
NBA
man? Throw the
players.
whole week. Throw the whole weekend away.
Yeah,
Throw the whole
yeah,
weekend away if that happens.
yeah. If that
Or
G
just throw
League,
the game away. Make it just a Saturday night extravaganza with just the skills competition. Fuck the All Star game because it shouldn't happen.
I actually agree with that. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that. Like Friday do the celebrity thing, and then Saturday the three. You know, you don't got to do Sunday. You don't got to do Sunday.
You gotta
Yeah,
do
yeah,
something.
yeah. I like those 2 days. You know, but that's what I'm saying. If that G League team beats
these NBA,
anybody, if they beat that NBA team, throw the whole thing away. Y'all not even trying at this point.
you're saying if they beat one NBA team, what if they win the whole thing?
Well, if they win the whole thing, yeah, the All Star game is done. But what I'm saying is, that they think about this for a second. You got dudes that are in the G League. It used to be called a development league, right? The D League is almost like being in special education, right? Going up against scholars. Okay,
The best of the best.
we're talking about the best of the best of the best in the world, going up against people who literally working part-time jobs on their off season.
This ain't wrestling. You can't script this shit to make it look, like
Right.
they just came and competed. You can't make Rey Mysterio look like they beat Braun Strowman with this shit. No, this ain't wrestling. This ain't wrestling. This shit shouldn't happen.
Yeah, this should not happen. This should not happen. That's like going up against some dudes in the hood, going up against NBA players. I'm looking forward to that, man.
Yeah, no, it's Stephon Castle, Dalton Connect, Jalen Wells, Keontae George, Zach Edey, Trace Jackson Davis, Ryan Dunn, and I don't know how to pronounce it from the Rockets.
That's not the G League though. Those the young players.
Yeah, those are young players.
That's the
Who
fourth.
is that?
That's the
That's
fourth.
that's Candace's team.
That's Candace Parker's team.
Oh, she combined both of them then.
Okay.
And then
So
we
but
that's
got
still,
why we don't know some of the names you mentioned.
Chuck
yeah,
Scott.
but that's what I'm saying. But still, even if those players beat the NBA All Stars, that's embarrassing.
And Trey Young's replacing Giannis. Giannis is injured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Kyrie is replacing always dinged. Or as I call him now, always damaged.
Yeah, damaged goods.
That's such a bad break for Washington, man. You know what's crazy? He came in and in the game that he got hurt, he was balling out of control. They was beating the shit out of him, and then he went down on a non-contact injury. I say, boy, the look
You can't make that up. You can't make that up.
Then somebody just shared a reel recently, real quick. Somebody shared a reel recently of AD on Twitch playing 2K, and he was playing with himself playing with the Lakers, and he got hurt. His player got hurt. I'm gonna have to go find it and share it to y'all, bro. But he was playing 2K with the Lakers on Twitch when his player went down, like.
Yo, that might be the funniest thing.
Like, what the fuck? Like, damn.
How is he getting injured in the metaverse? Yo, he's injured on all levels. He's just no good. He's damaged goods, bro.
Oh man.
And I love AD. I think AD is like top 3 when he's healthy.
Oh
It's
man,
always hurt.
always damaged.
Oh man.
Well, everyone, that's another episode of Nerd Camp Sports. Please, please, please check out all the episodes moving forward over on the COC network on YouTube. That is where
like and subscribe,
subscribe, watch, share, and make sure you check out all the sponsors. Shout out to 3AA Media and Chess Conversations over Chess Network. Check out everyone, all the sponsors we got. 10 Toes Down, The World Is Yours, and there's another one I just can't remember the name right now. But that's all right. Check them out. It's all on the website. And guess what? We'll be back next Sunday, 10 a.m. with another episode. Peace.
Peace.